I, 35M, am sitting in my mother's armchair. 3 weeks ago, we buried her, and last weekend we held the celebration of life she'd asked for at her house, which is now my house. It still smells like her, a mix of old books and chamomile tea. It's the scent of my entire life. My mother, Anna, was a research librarian who raised me on her own with a quiet strength I'm only now beginning to fathom. My wife, Clara, 33F, has been present, but her parents, Robert, 65M, and Eleanor, 62F, are another story. They've always treated my mom with polite disdain. To them, she was the working-class woman their daughter married down for. At the gathering, after a few glasses of the expensive wine they brought so we'd have something decent, Robert cornered me. Eleanor and Clara's brother, Mark, 30M, flanked him. "Let's be honest, son," Robert said, his voice low. "Your mother was trash. A good woman wouldn't have raised her son in that environment. She raised you wrong." The sound in the room died. It was so venomous, so out of the blue. I saw Clara a few feet away. She heard it and looked away, a silent bystander to her father's cruelty. The anger was a hot, bright flare inside me. But instead of exploding, I remember my mother's voice. "Think, Leo. Don't just react." I took a breath and looked Robert dead in the eye. My voice was unnervingly calm. "I hear your concerns." I turned and walked away, leaving them confused. But in that moment, a decision formed, hard and clear as a diamond. My mother's lawyer reads her will next week. She told me it was very specific. My in-laws think they've put me and my trash mother in our place. They have no idea what's coming. Update 1 week later. Clara spent the week walking on eggshells, muttering things like, "You know how my dad is." I didn't reply. I was busy. I had my mother's lawyer, Mr. Davies, formally invite Clara and her entire immediate family to the will reading. The tension in the lawyer's boardroom was thick. My in-laws looked suspicious, probably assuming I was about to ask for a handout. Mr. Davies went through the initial bequests, the house, and personal effects to me. Then he cleared his throat. "And now we come to the matter of the in-20 investment portfolio." He paused. "After all debts and taxes, the remaining value of the estate is approximately $2.5 million. The silence was broken by Clara's gasp. Robert's jaw dropped. Mr. Davies continued. "To my son's in-laws, Robert and Eleanor, who I hoped would welcome my Leo as one of their own, I leave the sum of $2 million. $2 million. The room erupted. "My God!" Eleanor shrieked. Robert shot up, his face red. "Leo, my boy, your mother, a saint, a true lady. We were just talking nonsense the other day. A terrible joke." He tried to grab my shoulder, but I leaned away. Clara was crying with a huge, relieved smile. "Leo, this changes everything." I let them bask in their hypocrisy for a full minute. Then I nodded at Mr. Davies. "There is one more clause," the lawyer said, cutting through their babble. "This bequest is conditional. It is contingent upon my executor, my son Leo, attesting that Robert and Eleanor have demonstrated consistent kindness, respect, and familial love towards both myself and my son. The judgment of their character is left to my son's sole and absolute discretion." The blood drained from their faces. The fake smiles vanished. I leaned forward. "So," I said into the crushing silence, "about your conduct." Update 2, 3 weeks later. The past few weeks have been a masterclass in desperation. First came the groveling texts and expensive gifts, a high-end watch, a case of scotch, all of which I left unopened in the garage. Clara became the main source of pressure. "It's $2 million, Leo. Are you really going to burn our future to the ground over a few stupid words?" "They meant them," I'd reply. "They just regret the price." When begging didn't work, the entitlement surfaced. Robert left a voicemail. "Your mother put that clause in to test you, Leo, to see if you could be a gracious, forgiving man. Don't fail her." Then came the smear campaign, undoubtedly orchestrated by Mark. Mutual friends and family started texting me, calling me cruel for holding a grudge against the elderly parents. They painted me as a monster disrespecting my mother's memory. The final straw was Clara. "You're enjoying this," she accused me. "You like seeing them squirm. Is this what your mother raised you to be?" The people I'm torturing call my mother trash, I said, and you stood there and let them. Don't you dare talk to me about who raised who right. I moved into the guest room after that. Yesterday, I had Mr. Davies send a formal letter to their newly hired lawyer. It stated that I would be taking a 3-month observation period to evaluate their character, as per the will. A final decision would be delivered at the end of that period. All communication is now to be directed through counsel. The silence from my phone is a relief, but I know this isn't over. This is just the quiet before the real storm. Final update, 3 months later. As the deadline approached, their desperation got ugly and proved, beyond all doubt, exactly who they are. First, 2 police officers showed up for a wellness check, citing an anonymous caller concerned about my erratic grief. It was a clear, failed attempt to paint me as unstable. Next, their lawyer filed a petition to have me removed as executor, claiming my personal animosity made me unfit. In court, Mr. Davies calmly presented my logbook of their harassment. The judge dismissed their petition in under 10 minutes and admonished their lawyer for filing a frivolous lawsuit. They were humiliated and left with a massive legal bill. The ultimate betrayal, however, came from Clara. I found a letter from her divorce attorney outlining a potential settlement. It argued that the $2 million was a joint marital expectation and that my malicious prevention of its dispersal was a form of financial abuse. She wasn't just on their side. She was playing the same game. That was it. I scheduled the final meeting. We all sat in the same boardroom. Their faces were hard with resentment. I didn't waste time and slid a thick binder across the table. It contained everything. Every text, every post from the smear campaign, the court filing, and a copy of a letter from Clara's lawyer. I watched their expressions shift from anger to panic. As executor of the estate of Anna Nowak, I said, standing up, and exercising the sole discretion granted to me, I have reviewed your character and conduct. I looked directly at Robert. I have determined that you have failed to meet the conditions of the will. The conditional bequest of $2 million is, therefore, null and void. Eleanor sobbed. Robert started screaming, calling me a thief. Clara just pleaded, Leo, please. Quiet, Mr. Davies said, holding up a hand. There is one final section of this clause. He read from the will. In the event that Robert and Eleanor are deemed ineligible, the entire sum of $2 million shall be donated, in their names, to the National Literacy Foundation to fund reading programs for children in low-income communities. I let the words sink in. A press release from the foundation is scheduled for tomorrow, I added, thanking Robert and Eleanor for their landmark donation. Your names will be on a plaque, a permanent, public testament to your generosity. The look on their faces, the fury of being financially ruined by their own greed and publicly celebrated for a gift they fought to prevent, was enough. I turned to Clara, whose face was a mask of defeat. I think it's time we spoke to our own lawyers, I said. Separately. I walked out of that room and didn't look back. The divorce is in process. I lost the family I thought I was joining, but I protected my mother's memory. The house is quiet now. It's just me. And after everything, that quiet feels like a victory.